whenever I
and mentals.
Check it off on your list.
Yep. All right. Well, you might as well start, Jeff. There we go.
Oh boy! Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing. Why do I say a show? I should say a podcast. A podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
Stop.
I'm going to. If it doesn't matter what kind of lemma champ or lucky track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of low-dollar endurance racing. Whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone, report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back to listen to our 97th episode, which is still crazy because that's what I like to say. And there is a controversy as to why we have this. Somebody wrote in what our 97th episode should be. Someone wrote in the boring E46 episode.
Yes.
Yes. Please tell us why.
Because in 1997, the E46 BMW was introduced.
Oh, very good.
As a show car, maybe. It was not actually sold to the public, at least in the U.S., until 1999 model year, which was late 98.
Fair, but literally, I go to Wikipedia and it's cars introduced in 1997, and it said BMW E46. And if you go to the BMW E46 wiki page, it does say 1997 to whenever.
So I also Wikipedia'd 97, and I didn't come up with anything good at all. So I decided
I have a quick question.
Yes.
It's a listener poll. Everyone write in. What is more annoying? Chris Mental's bad car facts, or Chris the expert's good car facts, but while he chews gummy bears?
That was my last one. Yep.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Trying to get this done.
I say, everyone listen, hear this? That is my dinner fork being tapped against the microphone because.
Well, we can't hear you eating, right? This is right.
Oh,
this is
I will do my best.
I'm staring at the Wikipedia right now. Produced from 1997 to 2006.
Okay. Not in the U.S. Maybe in
Fair.
Europe.
Okay. Anyway, get your bingo card out because you probably already got a whole bunch of check marks. You might even have bingo by now, so you should just play the game. And we're still on episode 97, which is so crazy. Okay, let's go on to what you're working on. Mental. We have been dying to hear about this story too. Please tell us what you're doing.
It's not about your hair either, right?
No, it isn't. But I am officially homeless as of the recording of this podcast.
Whoa.
I no longer own a house. Yes, exactly. In local news, Enzo Varia of Precision Realty here in Las Vegas, Nevada, look him up. He can suck eggs through a dirty wash rag. So last week, I shared the house that we were looking at. We put in every one of the podcasts, we've bought houses. And for those of you who don't know, I apologize for being patronizing. But the standard is you submit an offer and you attach a deadline to that offer. I will pay X amount of your car. Then the follow-on is usually...
And please respond by X date or I will move on.
Exactly. X date and I'll move on. And then you move into we don't accept that offer, but here's our counter offer. And then when you move on to due diligence, where basically you have someone come through the house and go, wait a minute, this entire wall is made of paper mache. Perhaps we should pay less for this house. Or you find out that the air conditioning is broken or whatever. And
there's mold in the basement and you need a new roof.
There's mold in the basement, you need a new roof. And if during that due diligence, if you find something, you're allowed to back out. Or if you can't get financing, you back out. And then if you can't get financing, they keep your earnest money. Well,
everyone homeowners here. Here we go. Yeah.
Right. So Enzo there decided he was going to kick back. He wanted my bank to fill out a form to see that I was really going to be able to afford this house because apparently he doesn't understand what pre-approved means. And on that form was a message to my mortgage or my loan officer asking if they had examined my pay stubs because apparently it's 1982. And that's how people still get paid is by check.
Yeah, who gets paid by a check?
I recognize what it was. It was a stall tactic because it was over the weekend and they were hoping they'd get another offer, which they didn't. So upon that, they then completely disregarded this questionnaire for my loan officer fill out, and they came back with their counteroffer. which it wasn't completely out of line financially, but they wanted to give me 4.5 days of due diligence. They spelled it out as 6 days, but starting from the time he typed up the contract, not from the time that I got it, 4.5 days of due diligence, and they wanted me to close in 2 weeks. This dude took 6 days to get back to me on an offer that I put a 72-hour expiration on. So my counter to their counter offer was no. Because go fuck yourself isn't really like a listing on your
spicy mental there tonight.
So yeah, you think I'm mad? You should see Vicky. She's actually gonna sack whack this guy if she ever gets a clean shot.
What exactly is sack whack? I'm putting that in my. Anybody know what jargon giraffe is?
It's an undercut punch where the connection is made right into the groin of a male. Whap! Okay. Sack whack.
Got it.
Sackback's a great transition.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Chris, what are you working on? I hope it's not getting sack whacking.
No sack whacking. We had actually a lovely weekend away at the Hamptons, visiting our friend Paul at the beach. So that was great. So then a lot of it's just been preparing and recovering from long weekends, like mowing the lawn, packing, unpacking. I filled up the parts cannon though for the Civic for all the things I wanted to improve after pit race. So got some ST43s on order. Check that out for bingo card, right?
Oh, I don't have it on mine.
And got the Integra Type R front calipers, which are also an Accord wagon, so they're actually $32 each. This is great. The brake rotors are from a Mini Cooper. They're 11-inch rotors. $22. Like, this is the cheapest big brake kit ever. Why didn't we do this sooner? I'm sorry. So, yeah. Anyway,
Florida man is screaming into his radio right now.
Got do some more suspension adjustments. Probably should change the oil because I haven't changed it from New Jersey and from pit race. It looks perfectly clean and it is exactly at the same spot it was when I filled it up the first time. So, I don't know. Maybe. That's about it. Start cooking.
On the list, right?
I made 6 pounds. Yeah, I made 6 pounds of bacon for the race tonight, so that's good. Yup. Anyway,
nice.
Jeff, how about you? How much bacon did you make?
I actually made some bacon, but that's not on my list.
Well,
what really was on my list was unpacking the Miata out of the trailer. It had lived in the trailer in the driveway for the entire week, so I had to track day prep it so that I could return it to my father, including unwiring all the janky wiring that we did at the track to make the taillights work. So I don't think we really talked about that. No. So I don't know if we should mention it or not, but
briefly, I think because of the thing we had to disconnect, it was kind of funny until we did. So
I roll through tech. Yeah. I roll through tech, and they say you only have two brake lights are working, the center and one side, and they want all three to work. And I'm like, really? We got to have all three? And they said, yeah, you got to have all three. So I quick go into the back and, bang on the taillight cluster. Nothing happens. I take the multi-filament bulb out of position A, put it into position B, step on the brakes, and they work. No harm, no foul. We roll through tech. We go back to our paddock, and I'm saying, geez, I wonder why that didn't work. And that's when I noticed that every time I step on the brake, this is an NA Miata, the headlights flip up. And I say, well, that's funny. Look at it. It's like push, and they go, let go, push, let go. Like those of you who have had NA Miatas, it's not the quietest process.
So they're actually like air brakes. You have active aero.
I said active braking.
It's tight.
So I said, well, that must be the dual filament light bulb because it's probably cycling back into the headlight circuit. So I just unplugged the headlights.
Yep.
So anyway, I did that. Brought the Miata back to my father, and then I cleared out the trailer and I drove it across town to help an old friend clear out his garage because he is playing the moving game. And I got to spend a decent amount of time at the birthplace of the Wartburg. And it was a little like going back in time. Like it hadn't changed, not the Wartburg, the garage itself was
floor hadn't been cleaned.
It's covered in sockets, all of them 10 millimeters.
It's like detritus, really.
Yeah,
it's
I was going to say the cars have changed, but the level of crap on the floor has not.
Yeah, just like wires and like
Everything.
trash. Yeah.
So I got to hang out with our good friend Jim Thwaite and, talk to him about his dogs and talk to his wife and things because I haven't seen him in years and had a good time reminiscing while I put all his tools away.
That's about right.
Shut up. You put somebody else's tools away?
My tools always go away.
The rest of your stuff doesn't.
The rest of my stuff doesn't. Yeah, but like there were a couple of random like cousins and things like that, and they didn't know like which tool goes where. Like they needed someone who could like open a drawer and put all the metric in the same place, and like know that things that cut are different than this thing that kind of looks like a scissor, but that thing does wiring, so it goes into this. It was that kind of organization. I did take home a little tiny trailer that my grandfather built 100 years ago that I didn't realize I had left in the yard of Jim Thwaite. He's like, you better come get your trailer or I'm going to send it to the junkyard. I'm like, I left a trailer in your yard?
There has to be a special word for having so much janky stuff that you don't remember where you left your.
That was Jeff's plan for a long time. He just littered the world with his janky cars, so that wherever he was and one of them broke, there was another one not that far.
Exactly.
And it worked out in his favor a few times.
So you're an automotive crazy person to date because you like nest everywhere you go, you know.
I think it more like Johnny Appleseed. I like plant a little everywhere. And I come back years later and it's grown. I'm like, look, a trailer. I'll take it. And I also took home an electric pit vehicle to be determined later.
Oh, wait. Does it have an umbrella?
It has an umbrella. Yes, it does.
I know this pit vehicle. This has been published and featured in our favorite magazine.
Really? GRM? Yeah. It's been on GRM? I didn't know that. So I took that home because nobody else wanted it. I did not get to take home the drum set for Josh. And it was a nice day. And then on Sunday, I put the oil back on. So the mighty Mazda 3 is now functioning. Yay. And I also did a headlight polish.
I don't even believe this.
What?
I don't believe it.
That's kind of like cleaning. Oh.
Yeah, it's making it better.
Almost maintenance, really.
Yeah.
You could almost call that maintenance.
And it takes time. It's worth it. I've done it and love it, and it makes me very happy. But I'm surprised that you have done this.
Gotta have light.
Cheers. I mean, well done.
Sure.
More importantly, is this pit vehicle coming to Thompson?
There is a steering box missing, and I don't think Amazon is going to deliver it in time.
No.
So,
okay.
Sorry.
That was gonna occupy my weekend. Yeah, I would have got.
Well, I mean, if it shows up, I'll load it.
We have other ones.
Did you order it already?
So it's fine.
I did order it. Yeah.
Well, at the very least, you can bring the Honda again and see if someone can get that going again.
I
bring it to enough races, and maybe it will.
And I also have received the throttle cable to make the Garage Heroes and Training pit bike functional. So I will be pit biking this weekend.
Excellent. Because they're not going to be working on cars, right? So
stunting and exploding.
Hold that thought. Nope. We're going to talk about that later.
Okay. Nope.
Chrissy, what you working on?
As Chris said, we had a long weekend away, which was lovely, much needed vacation. But then I walked right into wishing that I didn't take so much vacation, which is only a day. I'm going to complain about work here. Work is way too busy, and next week I'll be traveling, so I leave on Sunday. For one of those be held up in a conference room, hotel. Do not leave the hotel. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 with a whole bunch of random people. So I'm not super excited, but it will be the end of one of these projects that's taken up a lot of my time. So, and then
hopefully there's an Applebee's in the parking lot.
I hope so. I mean, I think I will. I think I'm allowed to drink sometime, so that will be good. I just probably won't drink much. Anyway, so then we have one night at home, so I get home Wednesday, and then we load up and leave for the race on Thursday. So, as Chris said, he's making all the bacon because we're cooking for a very large paddock this time, so we've got plenty to do.
And also on that note, if you haven't heard that there's going to be a potluck paddock party at Thompson. There is. We're hosting it. Bring something. Have fun. It's great.
Yeah, if you can.
It'd be awesome.
If you can register on the forum page, there's a forum page, and I'll put it back on Facebook. Just let us know how many people you're coming and what you're bringing. And if you're gonna bring some people, try to bring more than just like a tiny salad or some chips or something.
The Cheetos.
I mean, if you bring enough Cheetos for everybody, then fine. But
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go to Sam's Club or what's you guys' big warehouse and buy like the 11-pound bag of Cheetos.
I mean, that would be great.
Yeah. Cool.
Just bring something to share, or come down and just have beer.
Bring chairs. Chairs are good.
Chairs are good.
A table if you have one around. Yeah.
Beverages.
It should be a big party, so come down.
Absolutely.
We got music and lights and all kinds of stuff.
We got a lot of great response to it too. It's going to be big.
Yep.
That's right. DJ Steve's going to be there, isn't he?
Eric.
DJ Eric. Sorry, DJ Eric.
DJ Eric.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, that's what I got.
News and notes time. Formula One legend Michael Schumacher awake and watching racing on TV. Of course he is. So from an article in The Drive, link in our notes, one of Michael Schumacher's closest friends and former bosses, Jean Todt, has released a rare update on the 7-time Formula One champion's recovery. In a recent radio interview, the current FIA president admitted to having watched a 2019 German Grand Prix with Schumacher at his home in Switzerland. So, hey, Schumy's up. Schumy's watching racing. He's not a vegetable. Fantastic.
Rock on.
Everyone's happy.
Okay, so bear with me. This is a little bit long, but I've been thinking a lot about it. So I wanted to dive in here. And I finally found an article that supported some of my thoughts. So this is a conversation on W Series. So this is the series that only has women driving open-wheeled cars. When the series started, I went on a rampage about its creation. The segregation it creates and what it seemed to be doing, or what I thought it was going to be doing to women in motorsports. So like I said before, I don't like to be outed. I don't like to be treated. I wanted to be treated just the same as everybody. And this series seemed to go against that. So I found this recent article by Shea Holbrook, who seems like a lovely, down-to-earth woman who just likes motorsports, and she's currently one of the 20 drivers that are driving in the W Series. So I wanted to read a little bit of her insight, just in case you see it around or have you have your preconceived notions on what this series is about. So she says, we're more than halfway through the season, and we have a proven track record that we're establishing. She told Road and Track. Their ultimate goal is to field a female into Formula One. And now the step is in W Series straight into Formula One, right? There's a step or two in between that. And I think the series will grow and find a future female racer into Formula One. I think the series will field and grow an up-and-coming Le Mans team winner. I think that the sky's the limit and everything in between. So Holbrook isn't sure she fits every aspect of what W Series is hoping to achieve, and that doesn't see as a negative. Okay, well, what's the next step for the women currently in W Series? I think that in the top 3 should be able to showcase their talent and move on to maybe the next step in their phase and career, whatever that may look like. For the rest of us, I say the rest of us because it's unlikely that she's going to be in the top 3. But for the rest of us, I would say my goal is to continue in W Series, and I want another year at it. I'm a bigger believer in you got to give 2 years to anything to be hugely successful or find any kind of success. It's quality racing. There's quality drivers in the series. So the article is much longer than this, and this is kind of the best thing that I felt like she was saying, that I guess I saw this as a this is what you were going to do forever, and you were going to race against other women, and everybody was going to be happy about that. But I wasn't thinking of this as being a stepping stone for where women could, I guess, practice or something, and to get better about racing in other opportunities that they didn't have access to. And I guess I don't know. I guess I thought of it that way, but I had been so negative about the series, and I've been really trying to educate myself on what they're actually doing and what the women are getting out of it. And of course, a woman wins every time. So what is that really getting at? And of course, I haven't been comparing times or anything like that to see where it connects with men and other what comparable are.
Well,
yes,
they're running different cars, aren't they?
I don't know the difference. I don't know the extent of what they race.
Probably not directly comparable.
Yeah,
sure.
It was like Formula 2, but had a different package, I believe.
Yep. But we follow Shea Holbrook on our social media, and she was like driving around posting. And what was interesting is the sense of fraternity among all of those drivers, even though they're going to go out there and try and duke it out. Only one of them can win. But they all ride the races together. They're all staying together. It seemed pretty legit.
Well, I mean, is it the culture of the series, or is that because women are nicer than men, like to each other? Or I don't know.
I want to say no. I do. The latter part of your statement is just fact. All right, we can argue why or why not, but I think it's the culture. Yeah, but I do think it's the culture of the series. And one of the points that they were trying to make is the fans are kind of seeing that is like, it's like going and seeing a minor league baseball team. No, they're not getting paid millions of dollars. They're there because they really do enjoy that kind of stuff. And on a level, I always enjoy minor league. I'm not even a baseball fan. I enjoy going to see a minor league baseball team. It's a little bit more honest.
Pure sport.
Yeah.
If they're not in it for the money.
It's not corrupted.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Maybe so. So I'm trying to open it up to it, because before I was very adamant about how much I'd hated it. But if you're using it as a stepping stone, or it's just a place that you can actually get into, if women can't actually make it to any of these teams because either they're not good enough or they're just shunned because they're women or something, then they can go here to race. So,
yeah. I mean, the real thing is that they say that there is lack of spaces to be seen if you're a woman driver.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. I would think.
Yeah. Anyway, I am going to continue listening to this story. But we'll move on to the next story. Mid-year changes to the AER rulebook. It was decided to release a mid-season revision to the rulebook. It can be found at a link in the show notes, AER/rules. It seems that most of the rules are written about who is eligible to drive in AER. Rule 1.1, which is always the first one, is entirely rewritten. 1.2 is added because they're going to start doing hard card licenses. They did a little thing on the window nets. They did a little thing on firemen. And they're also going to require headlamps for when the rain flag is out. So they already require the rear blinky rain light. So now they are also requiring a headlight.
Okay.
Cool. All right, folks, we've talked about the 2020 Corvette, and according to Ronnie Schreiber, writing for Haggerty, if you want one, well, it might just be too late. From a recent debut up in Michigan, Michael Simcoe introduced the mid-engine iteration of America's sports car, and he said, if you want the latest and greatest Vette, you better hurry up and get your deposit in. The 2020 Stingray is going fast, and he believes that the orders have already hit the first year production numbers. Just for some reference, according to the article, typical Corvette production is about 30,000 a year, barring economic crisis, and on occasion has gone up to 40,000. But GM's not releasing how many they're going to make, but they're just saying that, hey, we might actually be hitting our production max, and there is talk of adding another shift. So if you want that Vette there, you better jump on it and probably pay $40,000 too much.
I think I mentioned this last week. There's one thing GM knows how to do: crank out a lot of freaking cars. So,
yep.
I mean, compared to what like a Ferrari or Porsche or Lamborghini would be able to produce in a year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, not really Tesla the company, but Tesla-related news. Lars Thompson, his wife Betty, and their daughter Robin, who just got her license, were the trio who set out, and they completed a coast-to-coast trek in just 48 hours, 10 minutes behind the wheel of a Tesla Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. 3 drivers averaged 58.9 miles per hour over the 2,800-mile trip. This includes 19 stops at supercharger stations to keep the Tesla moving. The record lasted for one day. And then, thank you, Kyle Connor of Out of Spec and co-driver Matthew Davis took their own Tesla Model 3 from New York to Los Angeles in just 45:16. I haven't seen all the data, but this looks like they're 2 legitimate records because they are releasing enough data, and it's not so fast that they're worried about getting incarcerated. So EV record broken twice in 24 hours.
Cool.
Well, the first one, I don't think they averaged less than 60.
Yeah. Take that,
Wow.
Alex Roy. Where are you, buddy?
Well, actually, he commented, if you wrote that article, he actually commented on it and something along the lines of records are meant to be broken, and then probably started calling around to see who could loan him a Tesla.
Yeah.
Yep. Towing a trailer with a generator running the whole time.
Not sure that's allowed in the rules.
Oh, well.
Yes.
Racing results. Who's got some?
Lemons was at the Ridge last weekend. What a great track it is out there. If you have the opportunity, I highly recommend it. So some of the teams we thought might do well, like Hella Shitty, they had their boring BMW, and they were flirting with the lead, but blew a head gasket. Sad trombone.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Silver Sleeves, those wonderful folks with terrible British cars, finished 9th and 39th. So they got one of those terrible British cars, which is either an MG 1100 or an Austin
Or the
Land
Crab.
Crab, into 9th. That's spectacular. Well done.
Crazy.
Rogue Squadron 92 Centra is 19th. Pretty good for a car that hasn't run in 5 years. Mighty Model T GT 1 overall. Fastest lap of the weekend, 158, and that is moving. Tetanus Onset 28th, and the
Otis.
was 6th overall, 3rd in B, which, hey, that's amazing for a
Otis.
Exactly.
The adventurous teams, the Supranos, with their Supra-engined Corona, managed 26 laps, 1 JZ, no crap. IWGT took their Probe and MX-6 to 24th and 27th. Aren't the Probe and the MX-6 like the exact same thing?
Yep.
While their boring BMW was 35th. So show up with a Probe or an MX-6, you'll do better. Eric called the worst running Lemons car ever. Maple Bacon's Caprice finished 33rd, but it only got them 4th in C. I think it's pretty good, 33rd.
Yeah.
Low Road Racing's Mustang 2 and their Sunbird was 17th, and the AMC Spirit never started.
Aww.
But they did take 1st and 3rd in C with the Sunbird and Mustang.
Great choices.
Yep,
Yeah.
I Want to Rock. The Murica was 29th overall. Measurably Mediocre Motorsports found their way to tow their Mini to the race and found their way to 7th overall. The Zora
It's good.
Yeah. Zora Dumkov Racing, their 76 Corvette was 3rd overall, took the B-class win. And our friends at the Crab Can Mixtape, I mess this up every mixtape date clubbing, whatever. And the Corrado took 2nd.
Wow.
All right.
That's impressive.
Sorry.
Overall. We got a Model T, then a Corrado, and then a
Yeah.
BMW-powered Corvette in the top 3. And then,
Let's be serious. The TGT is about as Model T as I am NBA basketball player at this point.
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, we're both
Like so
humans.
much.
But it is also like 90% death trap too. So, props to anyone that can strap into that thing.
Oh, it was completely just made of bits they had around. Like, really. So, anyway.
Yes.
A lot of sorting, though.
Now, we did miss previewing the Champ Car at Utah Motorsports Park. You might know that as Miller. But they ran a pair of 8-hour races this past weekend. It was an unfortunate Champ Car West turnout, which genuinely sucks. And I hope they get past the stigma of that previous person, involved in that organization. But they had 14 cars, 3 BMWs,
That's so sad.
4
So
Miatas, a Honda, a P-Car, and the Ford Racing School out there had a 2015 Mustang GT. That matters in a second. Saturday saw the Bandits in a 79 Trans Am on top with the MR Miatas 1 minute and 17 seconds back. Zoom Kaboom's Miata was 3rd. They were 3 laps back. The 4th place car, Teggy Spaghetti, ran the fastest 1 minute 47 second lap. The Ford School Mustang, which was running in the exceptional class, the outlaw class, with instructors running it, a 2015 Ford factory race car ran a 146. So that says something about how this amateur racing has really, you could tell us we're not really racing anymore, but guys took a crap can Acura Integra, a bunch of amateurs, and they ran within a second of factory instructors. So that's got to be impressive. Sunday, it was all Miata. Utah Valley University edged out Cremaster Racing by 6 whole seconds, and zoom, zoom, kaboom, again, 3 laps back for the bronze. Now, we haven't talked much about XX Speed, but this weekend they're rolling back from Canada, and their hometown track at the Audubon Country Club just outside of Chicago. In August, you can look for them at Putnam Park in Indianapolis and Pikes Peak in Colorado. September, they're going to the aforementioned Utah Motorsports campus, as well as Michigan International Speedway, and just outside of Omaha, Nebraska, they're going to be at Raceway Park of the Midlands. Choose your car, like the new Corvette probably eventually. I don't know. Choose your track and choose your date. Just remember to use Everyone Racers, all one word, and get your 25% off Extreme Experience. It's your turn.
Awesome. We had a lot of listener feedback, a lot of interaction on all of the social media, including, it seems that my singing of the Whoa Black Betty Rambutan.
Black Betty had a fruit.
It's kind of goofy, Rambutan. Kind of juicy, Rambutan. It seems that people either loved or hated that because they love talking about it. Top fan is Jen, which I believe is somebody's sister at the podcast.
Yes, it is.
Who had a great meme, and it was like, whoa, Black Betty. There's a picture of Rambutans. There's a picture of Panda lamps. Some lady with a name, Peggy Boutan.
No, it was Pambalam or something.
Pam space Balam.
One more.
It was very.
Yes. Props to Jen. She did a good job.
Bill Fisher texted me as soon as that episode was up and just texted, "It's stuck in my head."
Right? That's what Jen said. It's everybody. And then, of course, actually this weekend, not for no reason at all of a sudden I was like, damn it, it's stuck in my head. Like, for no reason. Okay, anyway, so Christopher, Scott, David, and Eric all got into a discussion about the formulas for acceleration versus the formula for velocity. So we have provoked intelligence, packet in crew. We will never be better.
No, we know not even to get into that fight. We know we don't know enough physics.
I'm just impressed that we've sparked that intelligent of a discussion. I don't think we've done that before.
It's because they're not drunk enough yet. Oh, well.
Now, Jeff posted up a picture of his long roof for life, and he just started a discussion about how much money should he sink into the under trays of his daily beater.
That's right. I have put about 75% of the plastic back into my car. One piece just arrived from Amazon. One piece is still yet to be ordered. And I basically said, like, why do I care with 160,000 miles? And man, did that light off. Derek Davis said he'd finish, adding, I like to have my daily as close to perfect as reasonably possible. I want to minimize wrenching and maximize reliability. Generally, that means OEM parts or better only. Trust me, I did not order OEM splash shields.
Your nemesis. If you were a super villain, he would be the guy in the cape that would fight you.
I was like, are these directly from China? Are they filled with poison? Will they
yes.
give me cancer as soon as I touch them?
Yes.
That's what I want. That's $1 cheaper. I'll take it.
Yeah. Eric said he'd put a total solid car payment in to make it right. No thinking about it.
So Dinesh Ramasar suggested replace the broken important bits, throw some duct tape, zip ties / JB weld on the not important broken pieces, then replace those good pieces from the junkyard.
I definitely have a zip tie holding some of the plastic bits in the front of the NSX together because it worked and it was there.
Yeah. I actually removed...
It's a temporary repair until it stops holding, and then,
Yeah, exactly.
I actually had zip ties holding together the remnants of the old black plastic and hadn't touched it since 2012. So it's held together that long.
Yep. Cool. And then Uncle Dave, I think, wrapped it up nicely, Jeff.
Oh, I was waiting for James.
That's all right.
Sorry. Well, yeah, James McGuire said if your $50 is going to result in damage or not spending $50 is going to damage the other parts, then just finish it, Jeff.
Yeah, Uncle Dave said, who seems to be the only person who knows me, I would finish that job. Jeff probably will not.
He's not wrong.
He's not. In more listener feedback, our overseas fan club president, Erling, posted a hella sweet picture of his daily driver sporting both an E1R and a Garage Heroes in Training sticker.
Okay, so now let's get over feedback. And now we actually have a real question from our young Chris Egan friend from the racing world. When
like
you guys are
consumer advice right here. Here we go.
Yeah, this is like we could make a show about this. When you guys are doing instructing in louder cars, use something like a chatterbox. My brother-in-law is joining us for Thompson, and we're trying to get him out on Friday to get acclimated. It's a little loud in the sub, and we'd be shouting back and forth. So the Chatterbox Tandem looks to be about $50 plus $40 per headset, which seems steep for what it is. I think I can build my own for under $10, which is probably true for Chris Egan, in parts, which would be a direct plug into our existing radio headsets, and I might even be able to integrate the radio so we can still hear and talk in the pits. I am looking for real-world feedback on the off-the-shelf solutions to talk to me out of yet another project. Mental.
So as far as inter-car communications, yes, this is absolutely essential. If you're trying to coach or be coached and you're yelling, especially through a full-face helmet, you find yourself leaning a lot, leaning over to the person talking to you, and that takes your attention away from the road. If you're going to be doing it for an extended period of time, you will actually lose your voice, and it's exhausting to try and hear, and it's exhausting to try and speak. So I do use a chatterbox, but, and Chris is going to talk about this in a second, they're garbage. They moved their production overseas a number of years ago, and their quality control is just not kept up. But I still have like 3 of them, and I'm constantly kind of fiddling around trying to get them to work. But it does also allow you to convey information by a rise in your voice. The infamous break kind of a deal. I've seen better ideas. But I haven't seen a whole lot work. But you're a smart guy. Give it a shot, and if that doesn't work, chatterboxes are always going to be there.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is because I don't think I've ever seen a perfect one, but I will tell you that yelling, even for a short time, is not the answer. Back in the day, we used to instruct at Extreme Experience without some sort of chatterbox box, and it was very difficult to coach while you scream. And it's like they don't know whether they're being screamed at because you're panicking or screamed at because the car is loud and your voice is going to blow out. And through 2 full face helmets, don't yell, pick out something, do something about it.
Yeah. I had a chatterbox for years. It sucked, and then it broke. So now I have a Racecom from HMS Motorsports, which is much better than the chatterbox. And what especially makes it good for me, and I think I should probably get another one of these cords, is I have a cord that plugs it directly into my helmet kit that I use for the in-car radios. So you're not using one of those little boom mics that you can't fit into the helmet very well, and it's hard to do. I mean, you need those for when you have students that don't have helmet kits, but where I can plug mine right into my helmet kit, to my normal earbuds, to my mic that already exists, that's really convenient. That works well. Yelling just doesn't work. I've even gone out with people. Like I went out with Bill this last time, and we didn't have the chatterbox once because I loaned it to Chrissy and her instructor. And I said to Bill, I'm not yelling at you. I just want you to hear me. That's all. I'm not mad.
So I have some thoughts from being on the instructed side. So I have used it. I don't like the one that Chris has. I don't think it's easy. I don't think I can hear. And it's bigger problem. I think the earpiece is really the problem. So I'm in full support of everybody else. You need to have one. It's totally necessary, worth having. And I don't know that I've also had a perfect one, but I think the earpiece is most of the problem, which seems, well, I mean, you need 2 parts. Can you talk into it or can you hear from it? And then if the earpiece doesn't actually fit well in your ear, I don't know if yours has ear padding on it still.
I feel like got torn off.
Right. So, I mean, like, that makes it so uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not good to talk about this because my ears are weird, but, which is actually.
Why are they weird?
Well, you had the same complaint about the last one I had. You said, I can never get this in the right spot. I can't hear you.
I can't.
So,
right.
It really seems that the world of helmet kits, 90% of them at some point take a mini plug to put whatever kind of earbuds you have in. There should be some sort of comm that has an earplug plug, so that way whoever comes in can plug in their own headphones.
Well, they need a mic too. So that's the thing. You need, like
sure.
We have, like in our race helmets, you need the helmet kit with the wiring for the mic and the earbuds, and then it's an
we already
INSO or
have
NASCAR.
that.
Right. Well, I just have to buy the other cord.
Yeah,
That's by the
no,
other
that
cord.
sounds fantastic.
And then all y'all can just plug in that way, and we don't have
Yeah.
to use the boom mic thing.
That
But
seems
now,
like 1,000
Chatterbox
times.
Agreed.
Chatterbox does make a helmet kit when I have my instructing helmet, and
Oh,
it's
we
a
don't need
conventional.
Well, we don't need another helmet kit. I already got
No.
one.
I'm saying, but for other folks that are not going down this route, you can permanently mount earphones and a microphone in your helmet for a Chatterbox that you don't have to constantly fiddle with the earpiece, and it doesn't use the boom mic.
Yeah, because I think
I
half
had
the
that.
problem is shoving it. You have to shove it in your helmet, and you end up just not like you're moving all the helmet parts around. So
Yeah, and then you break it half the time when you go to
Right.
yank it out.
I had one of those Chatterbox in the helmet kits, and it wasn't very good. You're better off just getting one of their actual racing ones, and that way it has more than one use. Because the Chatterbox ones only plug into Chatterboxes. So that's like a little stupid
Oh, yeah.
5-pin design. It's no good. So I think, Chris, the answer is for $10, make your own, because mine wasn't cheap, but it's the best one out there. So
and if you think you can do it, you might be able to do it better, especially if you already
know.
have helmet kits.
Chris can
Why
make
not?
anything.
I know.
He knows the radio stuff. Why not just put 2 radios in the car?
Is there a little delay on those too?
Sure,
Slightly.
but
Well, if
Yeah.
you're saying stop, break, oh shoot, you didn't
Yeah.
hear me because there was a delay.
All right. Well, there we go. We've solved
Yep.
nothing. It's about right.
But good question. Thanks for asking.
You know who's always crystal clear and precise with her instructions?
Oh, sure.
Chrissy's mom. Hi.
Okay, it's main topic time. Okay, so we're here today. We are going to talk about how to go faster. That's what our main topic is. So this show is piggybacking off of last week's show. So we have plenty of time to sit around and talk about our experience about bringing cars to the track for an HPDE. But maybe you can't do that. Maybe you have childcare issues, a family that can't handle a day away or 2 without you. Maybe you just can't afford it. I get it. When we talk about the value of the HPDE for the weekend, they're not cheap. So with your excuse in mind, figure out your excuse, why you can't get to the track or why you can't go faster. That's what we're going to talk about. What can you do to make yourself, or at least try to make yourself better, even if you can't get on an actual racetrack with, and ideally with your actual race car. So here are some ideas. We have a bunch, and go.
All right. I'll start us off. Watch some video, but don't just watch video. It's fun. You can just sit there with a beer and watch some video, and okay, that's fine, but you're not getting much out of it. You need to focus on some technique while you're watching, like vision, like braking. Where is this person starting and stopping their braking? You can usually tell by the angle of the car, or if you can see their feet, that's great. Car control, like where is someone understeering? Where is someone oversteering? How are they responding to it? Everything like that. There's plenty to talk about there. How are they managing their traffic? Traffic management's really important. And if you like, here's a great example. Find some of the team on the West Coast, Cerveza Racing. Their traffic management is excellent. They're the kind of person that's going to win the race most of the time because they just come up behind you and then they're just gone. You don't know really where they were because they're not intrusive on you. They just come up around you when it's appropriate and they move on. So things like that. Everyone has video. Most people seem to put some online, so you can use the stuff that's online or share, like ask someone that you know that has a similar car and has a very good driver if they will share some of their video with you. They probably will. Like I know I would, and I'd even talk it through with you. You might even be able to get someone like that who's going to be able to talk it through with you very carefully. So
I have a comment on that. So we, this is speaking of watching a video, learning about vision, which I don't mean to give our E1R speed secret, which is what I'm going to call them now, because that makes us sound really cool.
Thanks, Ross.
Right? Or I could come up with a.
He didn't patent the phrase speed secrets.
A faster. I'm thinking of a synonym for a secret. I can't come up with it. Whatever.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, fine. So one of the fun things would be to watch the video, Racers 360. So while we were at HPD, they have a great video on vision that we watched there, and we'll talk more about that in our vision episode. But if you're looking for some more, find some pros, find some videos that are that have 6 million views, and on a topic and watch it. So Racers 360 had some great videos. Thanks.
Like,
Sorry.
if you want to watch footwork, find the Ayrton Senna video when he debuted the
Yes,
NSX.
The NSX.
And he
Great.
is just moving this thing around Suzuka wearing penny loafers and white socks.
White
and
socks.
They
Because it
have
was the 80s, baby.
Right, they have a camera in the footwell, and you are watching the dance he does on the pedals there, and it's amazing in penny loafers. So, yeah, I mean, and yes, he's Senna, but still, it's a fun thing to watch to compare how your foot videos are much worse. So, what? Mental?
Well, I was going to say, and also now with a lot of the affordable track acquisitions, the track data acquisition systems, you can get a lot of them that'll have, even if it's just the green light for the gas and the red light for the brake, and that's key to the focusing on that technique. Where are they braking? You can tell where they're braking because the red light will light up, or even more, some will have the infamous traction circles, and you'll see it start moving towards the top.
Yep. Yeah, Harry's will do that, especially if you can overlay it. I used to use, we had a boost gauge in the car, and it was clearly visible in the camera lens. So I could tell when even without the turbo, when you were on the throttle fully, because we'd have zero vacuum. And then I could tell when you lifted because it would spike down. So things like that you can use too. So anyway, pick a specific thing to watch, not just watching the video. Here's some things like brake on and off points. You can see that clearly. Hand positions. You might not know it, but you might have your hands all over the wheel during the track and not keep them in a nice spot. You also might be moving your hands around very quickly. Your speed of your control inputs might not be as it should be. So take a good video, someone that's doing well and it's going quickly, in ideally a similar car, but not necessarily. Watch their video for a while and then immediately switch to your video. Because if you do it back to back, you will notice things that you're not going to notice just sitting and watching one for half an hour. So do a few laps of one, a few laps of the other, looking only at the one thing you're looking at. See where the differences are, and think about it. Decide what you want to do. That's my video speech.
Smart.
Good. Like it. Okay. I'm going to get back on a soapbox that I'm usually on from that I like to get on. Make your track maps. I really found a lot of value in this. I don't think it has to be as fancy though. So I committed to this practice with a large piece of paper, brand new pencils, brand new Sharpies, because I was like, we're going to do this, and you don't have to do
some
that.
Glitter. Went to the arts and crafts store.
I hate glitter. I hate glitter.
It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere, especially on your face and like whatever. So no glitter. So don't put glitter on your track map. That is silly and completely unnecessary. Anyway, you can actually just do this with a scrap of paper from your paper recycle. You could just go do that and go get it. Watch some video on a laptop. Find a pencil. So you need a pencil. I know they're hard to find. I know nobody has them around, but I would not do these in pen because you're probably going to erase things a couple of times. So and just try to do it and make sure and just like start somewhere, even if you're not good at drawing. I'm really not good at drawing. But I found so much value in it because when you're learning the track, before you get to the track, it's one less thing you need to do when you're on the track. And so it does more inputs when you are just watching video, track video. If you're drawing it and you're thinking about it, you're doing more and solidifying that knowledge of actually when you're watching the video, you're doing more than just watching it. You're more engaged. Go, Jeff.
I think this is a fantastic idea. I love that you do it, and I think I should do it too because I know that I'm a visual learner, and I have a real problem learning tracks by watching video. Yep. I watch the video and it doesn't really enter my brain. Now, if I do a couple of hot laps in a right seat and then I go watch the video, I start learning a lot more.
Sure.
So whatever is happening in the video is not getting into my brain.
Sure, but if you're watching it and you're, I also always print out or at least look at a piece of, look at the track map. So like you have to look. I feel like I need to say, okay, what does turn one look like in a satellite view, in a a track map, in addition to the video, because I feel like I need to see it 2D, and then when you're watching it, you're seeing it in a different view.
Well, and I think that's what you're doing. When you are drawing it, you are looking at multiple angles. You're looking at the satellite view. You're really trying to discern where that turn goes. when I watch track, I end up just watching it like a TV show. Oh,
Right.
that Miata's quick. This is this. So I guess that's my piece of advice. If you could hold on for a second, Mental, because it probably chimes in here. I didn't learn anything until I started watching for the actual things I would look in for the driver's seat. Like, if I just watched, it became a TV show. But if I said, this lap, I'm going to find all the braking points, or this lap, I'm going to find all the flag stations, or this lap, I'm going to look for the turn-in arrows, that's when the only time I would really get any value. And it's a problem. I need to find a way to learn without being there.
And sometimes you can't do that if you don't have Friday testing day. I mean, fortunately, we usually do, but you never know if the car breaks. You don't get that time, but you still need to know what you're doing before you get out on track for the race. Go ahead, Mental, now go.
Well, and that comes down to, so before you do this, you need a genuine and honest assessment of what kind of learner you are. I'm a visual learner, so YouTube is great for me. But if you kind of pull back from it and you can't immerse yourself in that video image, then yeah, find something where Jeff's talking about, where you're connecting what you're seeing on the screen and putting it in your brain. And that may very well be sitting there with your track map and that video on repeat as you now are involving muscles and fingers and as you're drawing these curves, and that's helping you learn these sorts of things. And one of the things also, once I feel like I've kind of got the big muscle movements down on a track, when I'm doing other things, I'll have that on in the background. And don't turn the sound off, because that does kind of start to cue in what they're doing, where they're getting on the brakes, where they're getting on the gas. So much to my coworkers' annoyance, I will have a video on repeat while I'm actually working on something else. And in the back processes of my brain, I'm visually driving that track. Okay, here's where that downshift was. Okay, oh, hey, I remember he missed a shift on that third lap right there. So understand, if you're a visual, or if you're not a visual learner, but you read something and it sticks in your brain, someone has written down these notes. When we first ever did Circuit of the Americas with Extreme Experience, John Edkins, he's a local instructor there. He sent us 2 pages of notes, not just how to drive the track, but common mistakes that students made. It was brilliant. And I read over those. And after my first lap around COTA, oh God, this is exactly what he was talking about. So there's more ways to skin that cat, and you got to get at it. And now the other thing I'm going to get into, Jeff, unless you want to go, hang on a second, little freedom here. Literally right over my head. Hey, I'm trying to record a show here. You want to land that thing? Dear God. Got a second one.
Is that is that anything secret? Like, is that a UFO, or is it like something standard?
You're just going to have to come out here and storm Area 51 with the rest of them to find out.
I know to put my arms behind me when I run so they can't shoot me. So.
Exactly. But all of these techniques and learning to do stuff and learning how to drive faster, not just learning the track, but just learning how to drive faster. You don't have to be going fast to do it. Chris talked about hand technique. We all get really lazy, grab that steering wheel at 1 o'clock, and that's how we drive down the freeway. But if you start training yourself to keep those hands at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock, your heel toe. Yes, I'm going to beat this horse yet some more. Practice this stuff while you're driving on your normal street. If you're learning to left foot brake, you can do that while you're driving in traffic. You don't have to go fast to practice fast. And while you don't have to be musical about it, I have found that it helps to talk to myself. Okay, I'm coming onto the freeway entrance ramp. There's my apex right there. I'm looking at that cone. Oh, that homeless guy's taking a crap on the side of the road. All right, now I accelerate and move on. So it's the more you can involve yourself. You've got all this dead time where you're commuting to work anyway. Might as well make the most of it. Jeff, I believe you've got something about freeway training.
Yeah, and this was something that was mentioned in our track training. Like, the clover leaf is your best friend.
It was actually from one of my instructors, or one of my.
Was it yours? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But like, don't just go around a clover leaf as fast as you can. Like, that's not teaching you anything. Like, play with the traction, load the front, like accelerate, feel the weight transfer, load one side, load the other side. Like, this is where you really can. It's a nice long sweeping turn. Take your time and do a few different things. Feel what it does in the car that's different. Chris, you got something on this?
Yeah, you can totally steer with the throttle at a 50% corner. Like just enough.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like practice a little bit. If you're into a good solid corner mid gas, pop off the gas, feel the weight transfer, and feel the line of the car tighten right up. And then once it does, get back on the gas, moderately, and you'll feel the weight transfer, and you'll see the line open up. And that's with your hand at exactly the same spot on a constant radius corner. So it's a great way to start practicing getting a feel for those things.
That is a more articulate, more intelligent way of saying exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And like Chris said, and you don't have to do it to the point where the cop behind you would pull you over. You can just very slight modulation.
And you can do it in something like a Suburban too. Like it goes a little slower
exactly.
when you do it that way.
Anything.
You can actually totally
might
trip
be
a
better.
Suburban too, but yeah.
I mean, really, a Suburban might be better because the weight is going to transfer more. Your tires are going to be more terrible. I mean.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's like a canoe full of water on
minivans, pickup
stilts with
trucks.
a 200,000-mile Suburban with blown shocks. I don't know what that's like. Oh well.
I'm going to throw in there, we've all talked about it, karting. You can develop that butt accelerometer. If you're a situation like Chrissy mentioned, where, you got family and you can't get away for a weekend to go to an HPDE school, that's a great family night out. Go on down to a Dreddy karting or pole position raceway, or something like that. Not necessarily the putt-putt golf course.
They should totally sponsor us.
They should totally sponsor us. But a good
Bingo.
night, it's a
Bingo.
good family activity. What'd you get?
I've got
Hashtag they should totally sponsor us was the last one.
So someone reminisces about a past vehicle, about the Wartburg. That should totally sponsor us. Free space, IOE winner, and general Wakeman problems. So, yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
What was the
well
general Wakeman problem? I mean, there's
what
many. I
wasn't
just
the
didn't know which
general
one.
Wakeman problems? I mean, there was
Littering-
The
littering your car
Miata. I
parts.
think the Miata.
Littering
I
your
think-
car parts. Oh, wait, that's right. Yeah, the brake and the headlights that came on.
Okay, that counts.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but or if you don't take your family that, or that's just not their jam, but you can get like a I don't want to use the phrase kitchen pass, because we got lots of ladies who do this too. But you can get your night away from the house. Going to one of those karting places is a great place to meet other gearheads. I used to know a whole ton of them that they couldn't afford to go racing anymore, but on Thursday nights, that was their thing, and they were totally going to be down there at the Andretti karting throwing down. It was almost a league night.
Maybe I do karting wrong, but I find almost no transferable skills. If I thrashed a car and did these stupid, I basically put the gas on and never let off when I'm karting. I just kind of like tap the brakes a little, and I just kind of I try and drift it because I kind of think that's maybe faster if I can keep the way I drive a kart is not fast, but it definitely is not even close to the way I drive a race car. So
are you using traffic management? Are you looking ahead?
No.
Are you looking through
look
the corners?
ahead. Yes. Okay, I look ahead.
But you can also do that on the
Because
street.
if you're not doing that, then yes, you're karting wrong.
Yeah, lines are all just it's slightly different, but lines totally matter in karting.
All right.
Understeer management, how long can you go and balance the corner, like the understeer oversteer balance. You're changing your weight distribution by how you're doing the gas brake, and it's absolutely affecting how it over or understeers. So, and your reaction to it, like if it starts to oversteer, are you catching it quickly? Are you catching it with the throttle? Are you catching it with the steering? How are you doing it?
Yeah. All right. Point made. I guess I do.
Okay. Good. So I'm gonna put a pitch in here for a little telemetry. Nice in the winter. Pull out your lap timer, look at it, and ideally compare it to someone else. If you have a friend who uses the same system, you can share data with each other, which is really convenient to do so. Yes, Chrissy.
Can you expand on that a little bit more? So you're talking about when we have been on track, and assuming that your track time on track has taken telemetry. You're not talking your street car and you're driving around the street, right? You're talking
Correct.
about used telemetry that you have received or used when last time you were on track, and analyzing that now. That's what you're trying to get at. Okay, if you could just be a little more clear about that.
Thank you for clarifying. Take telemetry from sessions where you were in the race car on track at some point in the past, ideally not too long ago. Compare that data, which is your speeds, your G-forces, etc., with someone else, ideally in the same car, Or if someone in a similar car, you can share it between different. If you have the same platform, it's really easy to share it. And then you overlay them over the two of them, and you can see where things are. And we do this pretty regularly because we have so many drivers in our car. We'll compare and see, all right, who is better where? And we found, all over the map, okay, well, Chrissy's doing better in turn 1, but Jeff is doing better in turn 4, so they can both learn something from each other in cases like that. So just look and see. But when you do, don't just say, oh, that's nice. Like, write it down. So next time you're at that track, you remember, okay, I can go faster in 4 because Jeff goes faster in 4 in my car, so I can totally do it. So you just have to remember that for the next time you're out. Because there's a lot of great data in there, and that's like data 101 of looking at stuff like that. So give it a try. And, if you're really cool, if you had a simulator rig, you obviously can use that. Someday we probably should get one of those and figure that out. But
sure. You're right.
Or if we had it, the problem would be
time?
just to actually, with what time? Like, when are we actually going to have time to do it?
Well, we have that whole
Good
second
idea.
living room. We could put it in there. And
That's where that Gearhead network thing comes in too, because you might know somebody that has a simulator, and that's just a good party right there. Go to somebody's house and have a simulator. That's the only really safe place to drink and drive.
Yep. Then you can do. How many shots does it take until you go
Hello,
off?
Mr. Egan. I'm coming to borrow your simulator. Please.
Tyler Hoffman, if you're down in Atlanta, it's the center point of his living room.
That's right. It should be.
Please host all of my greasy friends in your house, and we'll order a pizza.
Chris touched on this, and Chris harps on this very specifically when we're at the track. But when you're going out to the track, even if all this fails, you can't go go-karting, you're doing your best to practice on the street, but you drive a Nissan Leaf for 3 miles in traffic. When you're at the track, make the most of your time at the track, because chances are, if you're doing it at that level, you're not going for the win. But you do still want to get better at this. So you want to establish specific goals for each time you're in the car. Now, the phrase we like to use in all this total quality business management stuff is have a SMART goal, SMART.
I'm so smart.
Measurable.
SMRT.
RT. Specific, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and time-based. Specific. I'm going to master turn 1. Just this one time, I'm going to try and get 2 seconds faster, or I'm going to have 100 more RPMs, or I'm going to do something. Measurable. You're in a car. You're either judging it by time, RPMs, or speed. It's already there. Agreed upon. Talk to the other people on your team. Hey, we really like to see you work harder on this. And maybe they'll go out there and spot you for a couple of times. And then finally, realistic. I'm going to win this race. I'm going to be the fastest driver on this team, even though I've never been the fastest driver on this team. And maybe I'm just going to focus on being 5 seconds faster than I was on Saturday, and time-based during this session. It's kind of already included in there. So just try and have a definitive point for how you are going to function every one of those times you get into a car.
Awesome. Can I wrap up? Is there anything else to say before I hit the wrap-up sentence?
Go for it.
All right. I know all of today was talking about ways to train when you can't get on track. And I know that we have just spent some time at the track and found it extremely valuable. I'm going to put in a plug for do what you can to get on the track. When you're not on track and you got a winter, why not start surfing, cut some extra lawns, eat ramen a few more times, save up the couple $100 and get your butt on track. All right? Miatas are cheap.
There's one for $600 an hour and 45 minutes south of Las Vegas, should you want to come out here.
Not that you've been looking, apparently.
Exactly. Track night in America is dirt cheap. You could do it in any street car with 3-point belts, including your Nissan Leaf. It's really fun. So why not spend some time finding a way to get on track? Call your idiot friends and be like, hey, you want to go do this track day in your car? You know, even if you drive a Suburban, you probably know a race car guy who's got some janky piece of crap in his house, and you could take it.
And needs it towed. Now you've got a mutually beneficial relationship.
Dude, I'll tow your crappy Miata to the track if we go on a track day together. You can share cars. Get on the track. Mic drop. Anyone else?
Really? Whew, that's it.
I like it.
Wow.
I called you out. Hello, sweet but terrible, but no, it is
Hello, sweet but terrible.
on the spot. I have a question that no one knows, and I'm going to throw it out there, and they're all going to have to answer. We are less than 2 weeks away from our next race in Thompson, and we seem to have our cars mostly prepared. What the hell are you going to be doing in the next 9 or 10 days that you have all this extra free time? Quote, free time. Mental? Arrive and drive?
I said this is actually not a change for me at all. I'm going to continue to run. I might have some comments on how well my suit was laundered when I arrive. I don't know about that. They might
best
not be getting a tip.
Very friendly comments. Otherwise, I think it's going next to the cat box for next time.
Right, I was going to say I'm just going to put it on the ground and step on it.
I can have my dogs lay on it.
Right? I think in the in our group chat,
Mental.
I'm going to wheels and give Chrissy.
Mental has no idea that we didn't hear
a
thing he just said. Okay, moving on.
All right.
Chrissy.
I already told you what you're working on, what I'm planning on doing. Hopefully I get to sleep sometime in here, but I have lots of.
But the track. Why would you want to sleep now?
Wait, what do I have to do for? What did you say? The question was, what am I doing for the next 9 days?
Yeah, because our cars are mostly done. What are you doing?
I have so much to do in the next 9 days. We have prep for a paddock of 35.
Yes.
And then packing. We fortunately did a lot of packing last night. Packing and making sure that we are ready for the race. I'm going to practice my dance in a costume for my judging.
I got to finish putting together my
Crap,
costume.
that's right. I've got to.
Right?
I got to learn the leak dance.
Well, that was what I was trying to not give away.
Oh,
but yes.
Sorry.
So we have that, and then I'm traveling
What do
from
you mean
Sunday.
there's no Santa?
I'm traveling from Wednesday to Sunday. Sunday to Wednesday, and then I'm getting in a car and driving to Thompson. So that's what I'm doing for the next 9 days.
I would actually pay money for the poor maid, because Chrissy's got her headphones in and she's wearing sweatpants and a workout shirt, and some maid just opens and there she is dancing with,
Not the weirdest thing the maid has probably seen in the hotel room.
Yeah.
We need to get some.
Yeah.
I need some vegetables.
All right.
I will be purchasing and bringing leaks. So
good. I need to actually, fix the car with all these parts that I just got for it.
All right.
But
Somebody
I
has
was
to
thinking that
do.
and I have to help with the food stuff, but aside from that, I was thinking about trailer work. Because I bought LED strip lights, like stick-on strip lights, like we have the under cabinet lights. I bought a bunch of those. I thought that'd be great to wire those into the trailer to have nice inside lights. And now that I've got the portable air conditioner, I just need to put a duct in the trailer, and then I could have an air-conditioned heated trailer. So, these are the kind of things that I was thinking about doing if I didn't have the car ready, or when I had the car ready, etc.
ready.
We'll see how it goes.
I guess I should answer. I'm going to be working on pit bikes and trailer storage solutions.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to drive to DC and pick up the ultra reliable car, so I guess that's one night.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not bad compared to the normal thrash.
Absolutely.
So, maybe another good question to put out to the listeners. If you had an extra day or two between the next race, what would you do if your car actually got completed in time, other than say hallelujah and buy a lottery ticket?
I'd like to point out to the Garage Heroes in Training, the answer is not go buy another car.
No, that is not. I'm almost broken. Next show promo. Who's got it?
So we are racing at Thompson next. So we're going to be talking about Thompson. Have you been? If so, share a little bit of your thoughts and your trips, tricks, news, notes, whatever you want. Ask some questions. We've all been there. We've all done pretty well there. We're all going to be there. So make sure you're there. Don't forget the potluck. Besides, you're going to binge listen on the drive. So enjoy. Be safe. Come have some food. We'll see you there.
They're probably only hearing this podcast on the way, if we know our listeners.
They'll still remember to come have some food. if anything
for
our
sure.
listeners can do by the looks of most of them is eat. So there we go.
Well, the music means it's time to go. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. Pause so you can hear the music. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. The only place the ratings matter. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at Everyone Racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless there is no shiny side, then just keep the leak spinning.